Hey, it's Stephen Lerner here in the PhocusWire studios. We're here today with Alex Govoreanu from Questo, the city exploration game. How are you doing today, Alex?
Well, I'm pumped. I've just come off the stage and ready to talk to you.
So tell us, in a quick 30-second summary, what is Questo?
Questo is a mobile app for city exploration game, which allows you to explore cities by following all sorts of clues and solving puzzles in order to discover new places and stories.
So you're currently in 50 cities.
Yes.
Mostly in Europe, and I know you want to expand globally to reach how many cities by the end of 2020?
By the end of 2020, 100 cities.
How do you determine which cities you want to expand in? I'm sure you have tons of choices to go after.
Well, we do. That's the hard part. But what we are trying to do is see which are the destinations in which travelers travel the most around the world. And our focus now is on Europe, but also on North America as well.
So I think the first thing that comes to mind when you think of an app like this is something like Pokemon Go, which people are pretty familiar with. You play the game, you travel around your neighborhood or any city you want. What makes this kind of stand out from that?
The main difference, I think, is that in Pokemon Go, you have just one game mechanic in which you are this character that has to find Pokemons all around the city. With Questo, we can have all sorts of layers that we are adding on top of every city. So you can explore our haunted quest and you will see all the haunted places in the city. You can explore our romance quest and you will find the most beautiful love stories from that city. You can be an animal and playing the role of a penguin who's a detective in a city, and that's a quest designed for kids. So many types of quests, a lot of diversity, and that's what makes us different.
So when you're crafting the fictional story that guests are playing in each city, how do you go about doing that?
Well, at first it was us, but our creativity is limited. So what we did is we just learned the recipe of building a quest, and then we started working on a platform, a website, where we now share our guidelines with smart people all around the world, which are local storytellers or either tour operators who already have the content. We just help them convert them into a quest.
How important is it to go after, I guess, sort of local stories that you can only find in, let's say, London versus Paris if you were playing the game? Or are the stories very particular to that city?
Yes, it has to be particular to the city. When you go to London, you want to see London. You want to learn the story of it and get immersed into what London is about. So it's very important that the stories are coming from local people. And we don't follow historically accurate things. We are a mix of fantasy, real facts, legends, and all sorts of funny stories.
Yeah, I noticed in October you had all these Halloween themed stories. Do you foresee in the future maybe doing more seasonal or holiday related stories on Questo?
Of course, I mean, whatever our creators, our storytellers will want to do, they are able to do as long as quality-wise it's okay. We can have quests which are available the entire year, but also just for 2 months or maybe even one day. We also create quests which are available only on a particular day for a special event, to say.
That must be one of your most popular offerings, I'd imagine.
That when we do that, is usually hundreds of people gathered at the starting point wanting to do that. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the technology behind the app. What goes into, I guess, creating those adventures, the technology?
For the storytellers?
Yeah, or just the app itself. What kind of technology
So
is
the app
behind
itself, the app itself it's a mobile app. It's quite simple because we are targeting first travelers. So for travelers, you have to follow their basic needs. What we are now working on is allowing them to play offline. That's our main feature that they are asking for. They don't want augmented reality or stuff like that because when you're a traveler, you have issues such as internet and battery. If I'm adding augmented reality, I'm gonna drain their battery, and that's not good for travelers. So it's a simple app in which you have clues which are based on either text, images, videos, and all sorts of combinations there. Then once you solve the clue, you get the story of the place, which is also text, video, audio. So keep it as simple as possible because honestly, the fun part is in your imagination.
That's got to be plenty of fun.
Yeah.
So do you categorize this sort of under the tours and destination sort of market, kind of?
We started off by building something for travelers, but we discovered that locals love us as well.
I'd imagine you have a pretty good share of locals in each of the cities you operate in.
And this is actually something which makes us stand out in travel because we can create a product that has retention. Usually a mobile app in travel is used 2 or 3 times a year. But because we are relevant for locals as well, we are relevant throughout the entire year. Because once you discover Questo, well, I know you're a tourist in New York, when you go back home in London, you will do quests there with your friends because it's fun. You will do other kinds of quests, and that's why we are working now on diversity, but you will do it.
So I know to get the app out there, you are working with tour operators and having some type of revenue share with them. Do you see yourselves as a competitor with the tour operators or more of a partner?
We are the platform for them. We are not a competitor with them. What we do is we help them counter some issues that they have, such as the low season, which they can now turn into an advantage by working on quests while they don't have bookings. At the same time, with Questo, they can counter things such as when they are fully booked, they can just reroute those clients through playing their quests and make money, or when they cannot perform to us because they are ill or whatever reason.
Going back to the process of creating each of the quests, how are you trying to constantly improve that process over time? I'm sure it's got to be something that's going on in your mind. How do we make it better and better so that way our users can experience a better experience the next time they play?
You have to think about a quest as of a living animal, which is getting smarter and smarter in time. And that's because of user feedback. People are telling us two things. One, how we can improve existing quests by telling us, okay, this story is boring, or this story is too long, or these clues are not challenging enough. So then we should start working on that. But they are also coming up with new ideas of quests, of themes, of new clues that can come up. So we just have to listen to our users, and that's how we get better.
Finally, as you expand into other markets in 2020, I know it's going to be a big push to grow beyond just Europe. Are you concerned about your scalability, especially as you go into different markets and different regions throughout the world?
Well, what we are trying to do is now create some connections around the world because every culture will be different. And we have to have some roots in every place so to better understand the behavior there. If I want to be relevant for people in the US, I have to have some presence here so that I can create quests which are relevant for you because you will consume the app in a different way. So that's our main focus now, is to create communities of Questo around the world, which will help us be relevant.
I look forward to playing your app someday when you come to New York. Should be lots of fun.
We'll be soon in New York. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex, for joining us today, and thank you.
Thank you.